Hello everyone. Today we have Unit 10, Shopping Smart. And we have a text that says get the best exchange rate. And it has some recommendations that we're not going to discuss. So, let's listen to the vocabulary. We have an ATM, which stands for automatic transaction machine, cash, foreign currency, a currency exchange, an exchange rate, a fee. And we could, like discuss, like, do you make purchases with credit cards? When? What do you usually buy with cash? Do you ever exchange money for foreign currency? When? How? So the topic here is going to be how to exchange currency, bargain for better prices, and maybe discuss some shopping experiences. So let's listen to the photo story.
Page 111. Exercise C. Photo story. Read and listen to people shopping for souvenirs.
Oh no, I'm almost out of cash, and I want to get a gift for my mom. I sure hope these shops accept credit cards.
I'll bet they do. Let's go in here. They have some really nice stuff.
Great.
Hey, what do you think of this?
It's gorgeous, but it's a bit more than I want to spend.
Maybe you can get a better price. It can't hurt to ask.
I don't know. I'm not very good at bargaining.
Excuse me, maybe I can help. Let me show you something more affordable.
Oh, that one's nice too. How much do you want for it?
Well, the lowest I could go is 40 euros.
I'll take it. You do accept credit cards, don't you?
Sorry, no. But there is an ATM right across the street.
Okay, here we have some new structures for us, like for example a tag question in here. You do accept credit cards, don't you? So, I'm going to ask you in class, what is the meaning? What we heard in the text that has the same meaning as I'd prefer something cheaper, for example. This shop sells good things, etc. And finally, we can discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of credit cards and cash. So, lesson 1 is ask for recommendations. When we are asking for recommendations, we tend to use the superlative adjectives. Remember that the superlatives are used for the most something object. For example, I want the best, the most expensive, or something like that. We have in here the superlative with the ending in est. For example, the cheapest, the nicest. When adjectives are one or two syllables long, they tend to have this ending, est, the nicest, the easiest, the biggest. And we have the most comfortable for long adjectives. So, for example, the most comfortable or the least difficult. The least is also a superlative. Then we have some grammar practice that you can do at home, or we can do them in class. And we have in here conversation model. Let's listen to the conversation using superlative adjectives.
Page 113. Conversation model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone asking for a recommendation.
I'm looking for a digital camera. Which is the least expensive?
The B100, but it's not the best. How much can you spend?
No more than $250.
Well, we have some good ones in your price range.
Great. Can I have a look?
So we have in here another way to say 250. We can just say 250. So, we have some like brochures in here, some pictures of some products. For example, camcorders, digital cameras, or MP3 players. We can discuss, their features. For example, which is, the most practical, which is the most portable, which is the least expensive, which is the cheapest, for example. So now we have lesson 2, bargain for a lower price. Let's listen to a conversation model about maybe a tourist bargaining for a rug. Let's listen.
Page 114. Conversation Model. Exercise A. Read and listen to someone bargaining for a lower price.
How much do you want for that rug?
This one?
No, that one's not big enough. The other one.
300.
That's a lot more than I want to spend. I can give you 200.
How about 225?
Okay, that sounds fair.
So we could listen to some new words. They are not new, but they are too and enough. Too, as an adverb, um, just says that it's excessive. Okay, for example, those rugs are too small. That camera is too heavy. And enough is, in this case, for example, with negative sentences, it means that it is not enough. Well, those rugs aren't big enough. That camera isn't light enough. And we can use also the word very, okay, um, similar to, for example. The camera is very heavy. The camera is too heavy. Okay, pronunciation, rising intonation for clarification. Let's listen.
Page 115. Pronunciation. Rising intonation for clarification. Exercise A. Listen to how rising intonation is used to ask for clarification. 1,
Could I have a look at those bowls?
These small ones?
No, the big ones.
2,
How much is that vase?
This green one?
That's right.
So, clarification is pretty common in English. Now, let's listen how to bargain, okay? There are some expressions that you can use when you're bargaining in a shop or in a mercadillo. So, let's listen to them.
Page 115. Vocabulary. How to bargain. Exercise A. Read and listen. Buyer's language.
How much do you want for that shawl? That's more than I want to spend. I can give you 20 for it. Would you take 30? All I have is 40. It's a deal.
Seller's language.
How much do you want to spend? I could go as low as 70. I can't go lower than 60. You can have it for 50. How about 45? It's a deal.
So, we have in here that the woman is asking for a shawl. A shawl is similar maybe to a scarf. It is something that women wear on their shoulders, but it's not a scarf. It's bigger than a scarf, maybe to cover kind of the upper part of the arms and the shoulders. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a piece of clothing, like a scarf, but bigger. So here we can talk about experiences we have had bargaining, maybe in our country or abroad. So lesson 3 is about discuss showing appreciation for service. In your opinion, why is it important to understand the customs of other countries? Why is it important? Let's listen to a reading activity about when should I tip. This is very typical, like topic, when should I tip? Because each country has a different policy about tipping. So let's listen.
Page 116. Reading. Read and listen.
When should I tip? It's the question every traveler asks.
In some countries around the world, tipping isn't customary, but there are at least 180 countries where travelers need to know the rules. In some places, like China, where tipping was not the custom in the past, that's changing. In most other countries, tipping is customary, but the rules can be quite complicated.
Restaurants.
In the U.S., restaurant servers expect a tip of 15 to 20% of the check, depending on how satisfied you are with the service. In most other countries, however, it's about 10%. In the U.S., you leave your tip on the table, but in Austria and Germany, it's considered rude if you don't hand the tip directly to the server. In Europe, restaurants almost always add a service charge to the check, so you don't need to leave a separate tip. But in the U.S., a service charge is only added for groups of 6 or more people, so it's a good idea to look carefully at your check. And if that's not complicated enough, think about this. In some countries, like Italy and Venezuela, restaurants add a service charge to the bill, but an additional 5 to 10% tip is still expected.
Taxis.
In the U.S. and Canada, you always tip taxi drivers 15% of the taxi fare. However, in South America and many European countries, you don't usually tip them. Instead, you can round off the fare and say, "Keep the change."
Hotels.
What about the porter who carries your luggage? In Australia, you tip about $3 2 US, per bag. But in most countries, a tip of about $1 will be fine. You can also leave about $1 to $2 a day for the maid who cleans your hotel room. So, what should travelers do? Check the internet for information on tipping customs before you leave. As the famous saying goes, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. But remember, you never have to tip if the service is terrible.
For your information.
Never tip in these countries: Japan, Korea, Malaysia, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, Vietnam.
Okay, now we have in here some ideas on how to show appreciation for a good service. I'm going to read them aloud. For example, think of some time you showed your appreciation for a good service. So what did you do? I left a tip. I gave a gift. I said thank you. I wrote a thank you note. I wrote a letter to the manager. We can discuss about how we can show appreciation for good services in Spain and maybe in other countries we know. That is kind of another topic we can discuss at class. So, lesson 4 is about describing where to get the best deals. Okay? The word deal is a little bit difficult to explain and translate, but let's listen to it in these phrases so we might try to infer from the context. What is the meaning of deal?
Page 118. Before you listen. Exercise A. Vocabulary. How to describe good and bad deals. Read and listen.
She got a great deal. She saved a lot of money. It was a real bargain.
He got a bad deal. He paid too much money.
It was a total ripoff.
So there's kind of new vocabulary in here. Remember the word bargain from the last lesson, and now we have the word ripoff. Okay, a ripoff is when you pay like too much money for junk, for a service that is really bad. So then we have some listening comprehension in here, and we can listen to for main ideas like what did the shopper buy? Did the shopper get a good price? And then we have listening for details, and we're going to listen for the prices, okay? And then we can, like ask ourselves, for example, what are the best restaurants? Where can you buy the least expensive fruit and vegetables? So now we have the review. We have a listening comprehension activity that we're going to do in class. Then we have some vocabulary activities to practice what we have done before. And finally, we have to talk about the best places for a visitor to your city or town to stay in, visit, and shop. We have some ideas regarding hotels, stores, museums, theaters, neighborhoods, stadiums. What should a person that comes to Villaverde or to Madrid watch? And we have some like another speaking activity that is recommending some items, some electronic items from a place. So we could bring as a homework for this class like some items for the house or some things, clothes or whatever that we could recommend to the class as well. And of course, we have to bring some other like anecdotes we have had bargaining abroad, exchanging money, paying, tipping. Now, as usual, let's listen to the sitcom regarding this unit.
Hey, here comes Bob.
Yeah, he wants to sell me his digital camera.
Hi, how was dinner?
Great. What do you have there?
The best digital camera money can buy.
Paul, that's the same camera you...
Why are you selling it?
I have two. Cheryl gave me another one for my birthday.
It's not bad. How much do you want?
$250.
Wow, that's a great...
That's more than I want to pay.
But that's less than...
I can give you $200 for it.
No, I need at least $245.
Sorry. All I have is $210.
There's an ATM, right?
I could go as low as $230, but that's it.
Sorry. Thanks anyway.
All right. I'll sell it to somebody else.
What are you doing? You almost bought that camera yesterday for $300.
You don't know how to bargain, do you?
Bargain? Of course I know how to bargain. You don't know how to bargain. You could buy that camera for $230, but now it's gone.
All right. You can have it for $225.
$220.
$224.
$221.
$223.
$222, not a dollar more.
I'm not selling this for less than $223.
Here. Here's $1. Now you both get what you want.
It's a deal. I'll get some money from the ATM.
Great!
You said I don't know how to bargain. Thanks.
Thanks for dinner.
My pleasure. I saved a lot of money on the camera.
Should I leave the tip?
No, I'll put it on the credit card.
$5? That's not enough.
Sure it is.
The bill was $50. That's only 10%.
So?
Didn't you like the food?
It was good.
Was there a problem with the service?
No.
Then you need to leave at least 15%.
No, I don't.
Paul, we come here all the time. The waitress gives us great service because we usually tip well.
I always leave 10%.
Have a nice evening.
We're not quite ready.
No problem.
Look, I'm paying tonight, so I get to decide how much to tip.
Oh, all right. Hey, isn't that Mr. Evans over there?
Where?
Never mind. It's someone else. Shall we go?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Take out a check or a credit card. The bank has a good rate of exchange, and everything here is in my price range. The easiest part of this bargain hunt is that I can afford anything I want. Whenever I travel around the world, I spend my money for two. Shopping for souvenirs helps me to be near you. I try to decide how much I should pay for the beautiful art I see on display. To get a great deal, I can't be too nice. It can't hurt to ask for a better price. Whenever I travel around the world, I spend my money for two. Shopping for souvenirs helps me to be near you. Yes, it's gorgeous, and I love it. It's the